Social contract. Social contract.
The Lockean social contract?
The social contract our founding fathers set up. That government is small, it's limited, it protects liberty. That is what we need in
Right, that's a pure definition of minarchism, correct?
Yes, correct.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. So
You're telling me, though, that without a government, things will go haywire because what? Another dominant group of individuals using force would dominate the others. Now, didn't you just describe the transition from government A to government B?
yes. Well, no, you're absolutely right here. That's the problem with when governments grow so large, they become tyrants. They impose on rights. So what we need to do is we need to work towards a limited government, more individual liberty, and that's the best system of governance. But you still need someone to enforce contract law. You need a government there to protect the nation from foreign enemies. So there is a sense and a role of the federal government.
Do you think you own yourself?
Absolutely.
Is it morally wrong for someone else, through coercion or fraud, to take your property from you?
Absolutely.
So, what is government doing that's different?
Yeah, but that's my point here is we aren't even close to the limited government that we set up in this country.
I agree.
Yes, that is not the kind of government that does that to us. What I want the government to do is protect someone else from taking or hurting me or hurting my property. That's the government that we need, not the government that says, well, you were going to go fly in a plane, you need to go through the scanner.
A social contract sufficient to protect us and so forth, but not to enslave us.
But who are these people then that are protecting you?
Well, we will decide that as the people. We will decide to have those people around us we want to have protect us, and yet we want to make sure that no one enslaves us, that they don't or no one else enslaves us. And that's the social contract, and that's what you need. And people have to understand that, and there has to be a moral basis for that. And that's the entire foundation of civilization. You can't have anything good without that. So, you know, and what we have here, ideally in America from the founding fathers, is the best and the most wonderful thing in the world. And like somebody said, maybe it was George Washington, it's a good deal if you can only keep it.
That's right.
But if this group is commissioned by you, like you said, by the people, right? So that's 51% of the people. What if I'm in the 49% and you want my property and you vote my property to you?
No. Go back and look in your history. You should. All this stuff was passed had to be ratified by all 13 states. It's not 51%. It's more than that. It's not a 51%.
No. That was a hypothetical because you're saying that.
Even hypotheticals. This is reality, man, and we got to deal with reality.
Yeah, but you just described democracy. That's a hypothetical.
Democracy?
Yeah, because that's the 51% or more giving the 49% a hard time.
I'm encouraging for a republic, which is representative government, and it's a democratic way of getting the representatives elected. That's all it is. This should never be thought of as a democracy here. That's the biggest problem there is when we have. That's mob.
I agree.
Mob rule is democracy. No, representative Republican government where representatives are elected by a democratic or democracy type thing. That's what I say. By the way, I want to get on my word. I never call it the Democratic Party because they're not democratic. They're tyrants. I always say the Democrat Party, and I noticed Rush Limbaugh's been doing this for a long time. God bless you, Rush. You're the gold standard.
Well, you know what the best form of democracy is? Free markets, because every consumer now is an actor in this big government experiment where we all vote with our dollar bills, and that's the best form. You're moving towards the right objective here, but I'm saying, I should say, your objective of no government's not the right thing to be concentrating on. But
Can you define government?
Yes, a government that protects liberty. That's
No. Can you define what is a government?
It's an organization or entity that protects liberty. That's what we want. Now, government.
How does it do that? Through violence, right?
No. Well,
doesn't it use force?
Well, it has to use force in some sense. If you're trying to take someone, hey, I absolutely, if I was a person that's being harmed by another individual, would think that that's a legitimate role of government to protect me because I have a right to my liberty.
So we've distinguished between the redistribution of wealth and protecting liberty, which is instilled from being alive, from your creator, from having a body, right? You are your own property.
Just give me a steer. What was the last part of that?
Well, I said, so we've distinguished right now between the redistribution of wealth and then a government, which is the entity with a monopoly on violence, correct?
You can have a communist government. You can have any kind of government.
What is a government?
It just govern means to rule. That's all it means. We're talking about the kind of government.
How does it rule?
Well, either by consent or force or both.
How can it rule by consent if
some people are so stupid they consent to anything? Well, that's how it does it.
Let me ask his question. I mean, let's say you're an elderly gentleman like Bob here, and someone was to go up and beat him, What kind of protection does he have? Don't we have a right as a society to try to protect him?
Absolutely, but government is different than hiring a group of people to protect you, right? Because government is commissioning.
Not generic. Cut the generic stuff. I want a good government that'll send some cops after to protect me. We're not. Government is so generic. Don't just start out saying government. You got to say what kind of government you want. I want a government like the founding fathers described the government to be. That's what I want. The ideal. I don't want. There's a communist government. There's king government. You go back in the old books of the Old Testament. They wanted kings. That was king government.
But what's the difference between government protecting you and a group of people that you commission voluntarily through giving them something of value to protect you? Private company.
Well, you know, everything comes under government because private companies will not exist unless there's a government governing them.
So your rights come from the government?
No, they come from the people.
No, our rights come from our creator. We're just going in a circle here. I don't think we all disagree on this thing. You're just trying to, I don't even know where you're going with it.